I apologize to absolutely nobody.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to weave out the lies so we can get to the facts. Comedian Tony Hinchcliffe refused to apologize for his controversial joke in which he referred to Puerto Rico as a floating island of garbage. But he admitted then, presidential candidate Donald Trump's Madison Square Garden rally wasn't the best place for that particular routine. Hinchcliffe, whose garbage comment sparked widespread outrage in the week leading up to the election, opened up about the poorly received joke on the latest episode of his podcast, Kill Tony, released Monday. Take a look at what he had to say here.
Ladies and gentlemen, last night I gave a speech. I don't know if you've heard about this. It was a speech about free speech, believe it or not. And I'm currently under attack. I'm the news. I don't know if you guys know this, but on my speech on free speech, I referenced Puerto Rico, which currently has a landfill problem in which all of their landfills are filled to the brim. I guess I'm the only person that knew about this, unfortunately. And with that said, I just want to say that I love Puerto Ricans. They're very smart people. They're smart, they're street smart, and they're smart enough to know when they're being used as political fodder. And right now, that is happening. And I apologize to absolutely nobody. Not to the Puerto Ricans, not to the whites, not to the blacks, not to the Palestinians, not to the Jews, and not to my own mother, who I made fun of during the set. Nobody clipped that. No headlines about me making fun of my own mother. Perhaps that venue at that time wasn't the best fucking place to do this set at. But in any matter, to the mainstream media and to everybody trying to slander me online, that's what I do. I go hard, and that's never going to change.
This is exactly how you respond to attempts to cancel you, especially if you're a comedian. The island of Puerto Rico does in fact have a landfill problem, with 29 of the garbage dumps overflowing or not meeting government standards, according to the St. Kitts and Nevis Observer. The island generates 3.7 million tons of waste annually, according to that report. Hinchcliffe acknowledged that the time and place of the comments were ill-considered when deciding on which set of jokes to perform. But that's fine. Some things will land, some things won't. But either way, it's flying. And Joe Rogan revealed recently what Tony Hinchcliffe said to him after the election, and guys, I'm dying. Watch this.
Man, I was rooting for Trump last night as much as anybody in this country was.
Not as much as Tony Hinchcliffe.
Okay. Second most. Second to Tony Hinchcliffe.
Tony Hinchcliffe.
Touche.
More Puerto Ricans voted for Trump than ever by up 26%. He was so...
Well, but wasn't it? Wasn't that just one of the...
Give it up for the comedians. They have to be here in this moment of awakening. They must be here. This is such a balanced performance of humor, seriousness, humility, and just all-out savagery. Side note, I was watching Joe Rogan and them talk about the Puerto Rico joke, and it comes up that AOC, who organized the backlash against Tony Hinchcliffe, had been to his show and was a fan. God, this world is just so entirely scripted. Anyway, apparently, Joe Rogan warned comedian Tony Hinchcliffe not to make the Puerto Rico joke. At least he says he did here in this clip.
Don't do it. Don't ever do comedy at a place that's doing also.
Yeah.
Is he gonna have a bunch of speakers and you're gonna go up and do 10 minutes? Don't ever do that. It's a terrible setup. It's a terrible setup, and it's a political rally, and you're doing jokes like you're in a comedy club. It doesn't. You can't. Don't do it.
I don't really blame Tony, though, because Tony is what Tony is,
Yeah.
right? Like, if you want an insult comic, Tony is the best in the world.
That's
right?
literally his great specialty is roasting.
Right.
He's
So
the best roaster ever.
if you book Tony Hinchcliffe Tony Hinchcliffe is going to be Tony Hinchcliffe.
Exactly.
So whoever fucking booked him, that's the person that's made the
Not
mistake.
just booked him, but apparently went over his material.
Did they go over his material?
No.
Oh my!
This is what I've read on the internet, so it must be true.
In the words of Donald Trump, someone's getting fired, man.
I gotta tell you, that joke kills at comedy clubs. I don't like the joke. It kills. And I said to him, it's just like, if you're Puerto Rican and you hear that in the audience, like, oh, but it's a funny joke. The joke does well. But I said to him, I go, dude, that's the one that's going to get you stabbed.
Really?
Yes. And he used to talk about it on stage, saying, Joe Rogan always says, that's the one that's going to get me stabbed. Like,
Wow.
which is so crazy.
Yeah.
I think he'd pick stabbed at this point, given the shit that's going down.
I think it'll blow over,
Yeah.
just like all these things do.
Yeah,
and
of
there's,
course.
there's people that are always going to hate someone like Tony, and it's going to make other people love him more. It's just like he's going through it.
Yeah, but it turns out the media tried to use Hinchcliffe's Puerto Rico joke to tank Trump. It didn't work. You know what would actually be a fun idea, though? Joe Rogan said Trump should hire Hinchcliffe to write bangers about his political opponents in August and take him on tour. I'm even hearing people say Tony should be Trump's press secretary. Politics is just simply becoming more and more entertaining by the day. By the looks of it, though, Tony would have no problem taking on the press. He did it here, and I commend him for standing up to the continuous mob of censorship, cancel culture, and opponents of freedom of speech. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, send us a comment, and let us know what you think about the facts, here on Facts Only.